All right, so go ahead and head into Google Classroom, and you can open up. Don't pay attention to this, SpongeBob. I'm supposed to record this lesson for someone. Go ahead and open up the Common Lit assignment, and it's titled Why Kids Bully Because They're Popular. Something none of you losers have to worry about. Really? Nothing? No one's going to even comment that I just called you losers? All right, well, hold up. It's a very short text, so we'll read through it together. We'll do the guided questions together, and then you will do the assessment questions on your own. And when we're all finished, you'll have plenty of time to do it because, like I said, very short text. Let's make this a little bit bigger. All right. Why Kids Bully? Because they're popular. By Belinda Luscombe. In this informational text, Belinda Luscombe discusses bullying and popularity. As you read, make note of the details that support how social status or popularity affects bullying. Mean kids, mothers tell their wounded young, behave that way because they have unhappy home lives or feel inadequate or don't have enough friends or because they somehow lack empathy. But a new study suggests that some mean kids actually behave that way simply because they can. Contrary to accepted ruffian scholarship, the more popular a middle or high school kid becomes, the more central to the social network of the school, the more aggressive the behavior he or she engages in. At least that was the case in North Carolina, where students from 19 middle and high schools were studied for 4.5 years by researchers at the University of California, Davis. Authors Robert Ferris and Diane Felmley interviewed public school kids 7 times over the course of their study. Starting when the students were in grades 6, 7, and 8, they asked the students to name their friends and use the data to create friendship maps. They then asked the kids who was unkind to them and whom they picked on and mapped out the pathways of aggression. What they found was that only 1/3 of the students engaged in any bullying at all, physical force, taunts, or gossip spreading. But those who were moving up the school popularity chain bullied more as they went higher. Only when kids reached the very top 2% of the school's social hierarchy or fell into the bottom 2% did their behavior change. These kids were the least aggressive. So, question number 1. Researchers found that A, students tend to bully others more often as their popularity decreases. B, students tend to bully others more often as their popularity increases. C, students who are the most popular in school tend to be the bullies. Or D, students who are the least popular in school tend to be the bullies. What do you guys think? Someone shout out a letter. B? Yeah, B is correct. Seemingly normal, well-adjusted kids can be aggressive, says Ferris, whose results are published in the new issue of the American Sociological Review. We found that status increases aggression. While the authors are not ruling out psychological or background influences as underlying causes of the bullying, they believe that popularity is at least as important. It's one of the few times I can recall in social sciences where race and family background seem to make very little difference, says Ferris. Those demographic and socioeconomic factors don't seem to matter as much as where the kids are in the social hierarchy. Ferris also found that the more kids cared about popularity, the more aggressive they were. Ironically, that's pointless. Hostile behavior did not cause rises in status. The evidence suggests that overall aggression does not increase status, he says. Then again, it's not whether it works that's important, it's whether the kids believe it works. Question 2. According to the study, bullying is the reason why a kid's popularity increases. B. Bullying is not the reason why a kid's popularity increases. C. Bullying is dependent on a kid's psychological background. Or D. Bullying is dependent on a kid's socioeconomic background. What do y'all think? Someone shout out a letter. B is correct. So I know that was kind of confusing. That was a tougher question. So what he's saying is, as kids get more popular, they are more likely to bully others. However, bullying other people isn't actually increasing their popularity. So them being a bully is just them wanting to do it. It has nothing to do with how popular they want to be. And they looked at psychological factors and socioeconomic factors as well. But they found that the popularity was the biggest cause. Another stereotype the study jabbed at was that males and females bully differently. Boys spread gossip only marginally less often than girls did, and girls were negligibly less physically violent to each other than boys were. Gender on gender bullying was more prevalent among girls than boys, but boys were more likely to be hostile towards girls than the other way around. Gender wasn't entirely a neutral factor, however. If a girl knew a lot of boys or a boy knew a lot of girls at a school where there wasn't much intermingling of the sexes, those kids' status would go up, presumably because they provided a bridge to contact with potential dates. And yep, the gender bridge kids, as the study called them, seem to be more aggressive than others. If bullying is actually more of a result of hierarchy than of psychology, Ferris believes, there might be a more effective solution than trying to change the behavior of the bullies. Break out of the Edmund Burke. The majority of kids who witness this either give it a tacit approval or outright encouragement, says Ferris. Those are the ones who give these kids their status. We need to change their minds. And then question C. According to the article, what might be one way to combat bullying? A. By letting kids know that they will be more popular if they are not a bully. B. By letting kids know that bullying won't make them more popular. C. By getting kids to stop condoning bullying. Or D. By getting kids to listen to adults. I think we could definitely eliminate D. We know D is not right. So we're between A, B, and C. What do you guys think? Someone shout out a letter. It is okay if you're wrong. Just shout out what you think. C or A. Josiah, pick C or A. A was wrong. C was correct. By getting kids to stop condoning bullying. Yeah, we just established that earlier on in the text that they will not get more popular if they are not a bully. They won't get more popular if they are a bully. Popularity and bullying don't necessarily correlate with each other, but then they also correlate with each other, if that makes sense. So the whole point of this article was that the more popular a kid becomes, the more likely they are to partake in bullying activities. And there are certain ways that a kid can become popular. They mapped all the kids' friendships using like a friendship map, and they found that males who are friends with both males and females tended to be more popular, and yes, they tended to bully more. But then they also found that just because you bully doesn't make you more popular. That's not the reason you're popular. So bullying isn't the reason you're popular, but popular could be the reason you're bullying, if that makes sense. Told you, very short article. Now you guys will be working on the assessment questions. There are 5 questions. 4 of them are multiple choice, and the 5th one is a writing question. I want those done by the end of class. I will take them for a grade. Do I not have a working Chromebook today? Okay. So everyone's able to accomplish this. I will be around in about 5 minutes to check on you, make sure everything's going okay. I'll give you some time to work. Make sure you get this done so it doesn't have to be homework. Remember, I don't want any of you to fail this class. I don't want anyone to have to take English 9 repeat again. So please get this done.